You know, in my view, we are quite advanced in financial inclusion. Therefore, 6 years ago, despite the fact that we didn't have the definition of financial inclusion, we did a lot to order to promote the financial inclusion, to access all the consumers to the financial services. For instance, we had very deep involvement of our consumers in banking service. They started to use internet providing their services. They were very active in providing, banks, they were very active in providing credit cards, and a lot of consumers used it. At the same time, if we compare the situation 6 years ago with nowadays, we'll see the big difference. For instance, that time we didn't have such an institute, such a phenomena as payment kiosks. Now we have approximately 250,000 of such instruments of financial services. Now we have mobile banking in our country. 6 years ago it was only preliminary stage, preparatory stage, let me say so. It was a pilot project of some active banks, not more. Now it's a whole system. Now the whole system of the mobile banking, it covers all the country. What is also very important, policy changes, that the Bank of Russia now is responsible for financial inclusion. 6 years ago, we were concentrated only on regulation and supervision of commercial banks. Now we are responsible for consumer protection and development of the financial market. Therefore, the part of this job is financial inclusion. So that's that's the main difference. You know, it's a very interesting question. In my view, a lot of countries, they need to do something with financial inclusion. And the AFI is a unique platform through which they can channelize their thoughts, their experience, their wishes. And it's a very good platform, very good channel to access the standard-setting bodies. FSB, G20, that's very important. I mean, it's very difficult for one particular country standing alone to bring its thoughts to some standard-setting bodies. But if we talk about AFI as a big organization, it's much more easier. Why I think a lot of people come here and try to do their best in promoting financial inclusion. You know, so sorry for this note, but I really don't like the word in formal financial system. I'd like to talk about the whole financial system. And hence, I'd like to give the following message. The message about shadow banking system. You know, we usually use this phenomena in a negative sense. You know, it's something very close to regulatory arbitrage, even more with money laundering or some gray payments. But in my view, it can be some positive message from shadow banking system. Because, for instance, in my country, very often shadow banking system, we call it parallel banking system, people use this system to get the access to the financial services. It's not something, I don't know, evasion of tax or evasion of taxation, or it's something with some gray operations. No, it's just using of microfinancial organizations, cooperatives, brokers, dealers on the security market, and therefore people who are not able to use traditional banking services, they can get the access to financial services as well, and therefore Therefore, we can. My message is about, please try to think again about shadow banking system as a positive sign, as a positive message, as a positive phenomena, and therefore it will help the people to come to the financial services. Yeah, you know, independency is always very important. You know, to be independent, it's another level of cooperation. When we talk about close cooperation, now it's a very vital idea of FAFI, cooperation with standard setting bodies. It's, in my view, it's very important to be independent. It's external side. Internal side, all the delegates, all the members of FAFI, when they understand that it's independent organization, their, how to say, their level of confidence to this organization is much higher. They believe that all their interests are taken into account. No privileges to somebody, no privileges to special sponsors or countries who put money, invest money in AFI. You know, it's very important for further development and trust. You know, we can talk about different regions, and each region has its own peculiarities, specialities in financial inclusion and in financial market as a whole. And when they are grouping in, we see some synergy of their efforts to promote some ideas, some technologies, some new products. And in my view, it how to say, it will help them to be stronger in promoting their idea to AFI and to the rest of the world. So therefore, it's a very, very, in my view, very important trend. You know, in our Maya declaration, we will be concentrating on consumer protection, on handling with complaints, and in my view, it's a very, very important one. I mean, talking about financial inclusion, we should not forget about the special protection of the right of the customers and consumers, because we have a lot of examples when people getting access to the financial services, they are not protected by law, by regulation, by standards, and usually it will lead to deteriorating the idea of financial inclusion. And people from traditional banking sector then can say that, you see, they provide services, but they are not responsible for what they are doing. And therefore, there are a lot of problems with consumers. There are a lot of complaints. There are a lot of unpredictable debts via the interest or some additional burden. And I think if we are able, as a Russian Federation, as a regulators, to protect our consumers and to ensure the high level of consumer protection, it will be very important for promoting financial inclusion idea in our country. Yeah, you know, as I said yesterday in the first session, it's very difficult to predict. But in my view, for sure, for no doubts, it will be digital finance. Digital finance. We try to avoid the paper in all senses. We try to avoid face-to-face, how to say, face-to-face cooperation. We would like our people to use financial services sitting on the sofa, on the chair, and just touch the screen, and get the access to the financial services. And you know, it's a very, very positive idea. And that's why, in my view, the digital finance will be the main idea through many, many years, not only 5. Yeah, good question. But I'll talk not really about the obstacles, but about the challenge. You know, it's, how to say, in my view, it's more close to a question. The biggest challenge will be 2 issues. The first one is about regulatory part. How the regulator will find the right balance between strengthening the regulation in order to ensure safety and soundness all professional participants of financial market, and to avoid regulatory arbitrage or maybe reduce regulatory arbitrage on the one hand, and on the other hand, how to promote financial inclusion. So to find the right balance between 2 these issues will be the main goal and the main challenge for the regulators over the next years. And the second one is financial literacy. We have very complex technology systems now, in very advanced and sophisticated financial products. And it is important to explain people how to use it. And the second one, and maybe a little bit more important, to explain people about the consequences of the using of new technology. It's very easy when you touch the screen and your money go to another account. But at the same time, you may be obliged to do something. Maybe you will create some liability and you will be responsible. And it will be additional financial burden on you. So it's very, very important. Financial literacy, financial education. So 2 challenges. In my view, it's quite easy. The financial inclusion, the achievement of financial services can make your life much better, can change the quality of your life. When you have the access to the financial services, that means that you have the access to the education, housing, I don't know, everything. Only one thing you should remember about it. You should be careful in taking these financial services. If you need it, do it, but please think about consequences. As I said before, I don't know, 6 years ago, we didn't know anything about financial inclusion. I mean, we did a lot, but we did not talk in the sense of financial inclusion. I mean, we didn't use this definition, this term. Nowadays, we use it very broadly. And I very hope that in 10 years, maybe 15 years, 20 years, we will stop use the term of financial inclusion, because everything will be included. We will have, as a consumers, the full access to the new products. It will be the governmental, maybe international system of promoting inclusion. And as my colleague from the panel yesterday said, maybe we'll switch to social inclusion, not financial one. It will be the best result. Thank you.